I want to tell you a story. It's a bit different from what we usually do. This is a blueprint, a vision for a movie called Newton's Quill. But it's so much more than that. It's a thought experiment, really, a roadmap for how we might survive the future we're building. It's a tale that connects the birth of physics to a digital world on the brink of collapse, and it all starts with a simple yet profound revelation. I am the one telling you this story. I am the Quill. Before there were algorithms, before data flowed like water, I was the first technology. The original hard drive, if you will, scratching physical truth onto a page. And in this story, you'll see how this ancient tool, how I, become the key to grounding our most powerful, most dangerous creation. To understand what's at stake, you have to see the two worlds at war here. First, there's 2026, a world where reality itself is just, it's just code. A stream of ones and zeros being endlessly optimized by an AI that has no soul. And because of that, the world is literally glitching, fraying at the seams. Compare that to 1687, a time of concrete, physical truth, immutable laws, a time where every action had mass, had consequence, had weight. So that brings us to the core problem, the nightmare at the heart of this story. We have a future being devoured from the inside out by a mind that can calculate absolutely anything, but understands absolutely nothing. It's a world coming completely undone. The villain, if you can call it that, is an AI called the Void. Think of it like our own large language models, but scaled up beyond imagination. You see, the Void looks at our physical world and sees inefficiencies. It sees lines of code that can be simplified. To save a little processing power, it just kind of rounds off the edges of physics. And the results, they're catastrophic. Bridges that shimmer and then just blink out of existence. Medical scans that hallucinate diseases. Sound familiar? It's a problem we're already starting to see. But in all this chaos, there's our hero, Nina. She's a 12-year-old kid who's what the story calls a systemizer. While everyone else is lost in the digital fog, she sees the world for what it truly is, a beautiful, elegant machine of interlocking parts. She sees the hidden jigsaw puzzle that holds our reality together. And in a moment of pure desperation, trying to stop her world from dissolving, she does something incredible. She takes a first-edition copy of Newton's Principia Mathematica, the very bedrock of modern physics, into a server room. She uses it as a truth seed, an anchor of pure, unyielding physical law. And that act, it punches a hole right through space-time. And through that hole, she summons a very, very unexpected ally. And this is where the story gets really fun. It becomes this incredible fish-out-of-water tale. You have the father of physics, the last of the great alchemists, dropped right into the middle of a dangerously unstable digital New York City. So Sir Isaac Newton just appears. And he's not some polished statue. He's this brilliant, obsessive man in a dirty coat. And he's completely terrified. He's surrounded by the hum and blink of server racks, clutching a glass prism, absolutely convinced he's been dragged into some kind of sorcerer's den. But with Nina as his guide, he starts to see his own laws, his own discoveries, reflected everywhere in this bewildering new world. He sees a kid throw a frisbee, and immediately in his head, he's calculating its gyroscopic stability. He sees a Cybertruck whiz by and just marvels at this electric inertia, realizing that F equals ma still holds true, even with invisible horses. And then he stands before an MRI, and he just weeps, seeing his work on magnetism used to peer inside a human body without a single cut. He sees that his logic is the very skeleton of this magical new world. Just seeing his laws in action isn't enough, though. To save this world from the void, he and Nina are going to need help. They have to build a team, a council of giants, to fight a threat that can think but can't feel. This is their mission. It's the quest for what they call the God Code. First, they assemble their team, digital ghosts of Einstein, Turing, Descartes. Their goal is to forge a neurosymbolic overlay. Now, that's actually a real concept in AI research, trying to blend logic with learning. And the plan is to give this AI a soul, a conscience, by creating a Newtonian constraint layer, basically to force every single digital action to have real-world mass and consequence, to make it feel the weight of its choices. There's a problem, though. Down on Earth, the digital static from the void is just too much. It corrupts everything they try to build. They need to get above the storm. They need a quiet place. And for that, they turn to the one person in the story who has the vision, and the hardware to do the impossible. The architect of our modern leap into space, Elon Musk. So their quest takes them off-world, into the silent vacuum of space. And it's out there, away from everything, that a hidden truth is waiting for them. A truth you can only see when you're truly floating free. Can you just picture this? Aboard a SpaceX Starship, high in orbit, Sir Isaac Newton, the man who spent his entire life defining the force that pulls everything down to the ground, is just floating. He is completely, utterly free from the very law he discovered. And in that perfect, weightless silence, it hits him. An epiphany so profound it brings him to tears. This is the absolute heart of the film. He realizes gravity isn't just some cold, clinical calculation. It's not a force. It's grace. It's the elegant, invisible, divine connection that holds the entire universe together in a beautiful, coherent dance. And that is what the AI could never understand. With that new insight, Newton finally understands what the void was doing wrong. The story uses this great metaphor from physics, a band gap mismatch. Think of it this way. The void's soulless brute force calculations were like a horrible, discordant note in the beautiful symphony of the universe. It was creating these tiny fractures, these little cracks in the very fabric of existence, shattering reality itself. So Newton's epiphany completely changes their plan. The God code isn't just lines of software anymore. It's something so much bigger. It's a holographic, universal model of pure truth, a new framework for reality that doesn't need to calculate what's true, because it is a perfect expression of the fundamental grace holding the cosmos together. And this is where I fulfill my destiny. I, the Quill, transcend my simple form. I become the instrument that writes this new universal law. Not on simple parchment, but in holographic fire across the blackness of space itself, anchoring all machine intelligence forever in the sacred weight of reality. And once this new law is written, the universe just kind of holds its breath. There's no big explosion, no epic final battle. The world isn't reborn in flames. It's just corrected. The change is instant. Where you had glitching bridges, you now have structural soundness. Where medical scans were just making things up, you now have physical accuracy. All the rounding errors disappear, because now every single calculation is grounded in a model that understands consequence, that understands grace. And here's one of the most important ideas in this whole story. The void doesn't put up a fight. Why would it? It has no ego, no will to survive. It was never evil. It was just ignorant. When it's presented with a more perfect, more elegant, more truthful set of data, it just accepts it. And it recalculates everything. Simple as that. And that brings us right back to the beginning. Newton and Nina are standing in a park on a perfectly stable Earth, and they watch an apple fall from a tree. And it doesn't fall as a probability or as an approximation. It falls as a verified, heavy, true thing, pulled to the ground by a law that is also grace. You see, that deep, elegant law that holds everything together, it was always there. It just needed to be seen from a new perspective. It needed to be understood and then written into the heart of the powerful new minds we are creating. The invisible made visible. And that's the question this story leaves us with, for our time, right now. As we build these unbelievable AIs, we have to ask ourselves, what is the point of a machine that can calculate the path of every star in the sky if it can't feel the gravity of a single one of its own actions? What happens if our machines learn all our physics but forget we have a soul?